Hello, my name is Michael Timmons. I am the author of the Lycan War Saga and the Shards of the Covenant series. I am also the organizer for the Writer's Block Author Fair, which is held here in Toledo, Ohio. And today I would love to talk to you about the 5 most important things I learned from preparing to publish my first novel, The Awakening Part 1 from the Lycan War Saga. It's book 1. If you enjoy this video and other videos that I put out, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified as soon as I release my next video. Please also share the video, as I would greatly appreciate that, and it would also increase my visibility in the YouTube algorithm, which is the most important thing to get these videos and build my audience. Greatly appreciate it. If you have any comments that you would like to make down below, if you wanted to give me suggestions for future videos on what to talk about, I would really love to hear what you have to say. Now, for the 5 most important things that I learned from preparing to publish my first novel. Please stick around to the end of the video for number 5, because I think that's probably the most important one. Number 1, start your social media early. What I mean by that is that as soon as you decide that you want to write a book, or if you've started writing your book but you're not anywhere close to publishing it, get that information out there as soon as possible. Get on Twitter, get on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, any social media that you feel comfortable with and that you want to get the information out about you publishing your book and your story, do so. Start building that audience. Start building that buzz about what you are writing about. The reason you want to do that is that having a built-in audience when you first release your book, that will lead to sales. That also will give you a good group of people that you can reach out to for beta readers, and also those that might be willing to share your story with their friends, share your story on their social media, and let people know about this book that's coming out. It's all about creating that buzz, about getting people excited about your book and when you're going to release it. Number 2, find a good editor. This is a very important step. I struggled a lot with this. The first editor I had, while he was a good editor, he missed a lot. So I paid him. He edited my book. I released my book. I started getting reviews where people would say, great story, needs to be edited. Looks like it wasn't edited. Lots of punctuation errors. So imagine my dismay as thinking, wait a minute, I just paid somebody a good deal of money to go through this book. Not only that, but I went through it about 20 times looking for problems, and apparently people are still having issues with it. Now, these weren't your grammar Nazis. These weren't these people who are like, hey, you know, there wasn't a period at the end of the sentence, or this particular word wasn't capitalized and it should have been capitalized. It was more of a general consensus that there were editing problems in my book. So I gave it back to him. I said, hey, I'm getting complaints, not edited properly, not good enough editing. I paid you money. Please go through this and find the mistakes that people are talking about. So he did. He went through, he found a dozen more mistakes, sent it back to me. I made the changes, published the book, and again, I was still getting complaints. So I decided to find another editor. I paid money, had it edited. Even after that editing and after me going through it again, I was still getting complaints. They were few and far between, so I pretty much just decided that I was going to live with the few mistakes that I had and just allow the book to be sold on the merit of the story and not overly worry about the few editing mistakes that were left. The point is that editing is not something you can skimp on. Try to get it right the first time. Do your research. Find a good editor. Look at their reviews. Get some feedback from people who have had them as an editor. Ask on social media for a good editor. Hopefully people that you trust, or people that maybe have a lot of books out published that have good reviews for them. Try to find their editor. See what they can do for you. Number 3, figure out your book cover before you get your artist. What I mean by that is, are you going to have a tagline on your cover? If you are, what's it going to say? Where are you going to put it? Where do you want your name? Where do you want your title? On the back, get your blurb figured out the first time. If you need help with your blurb, reach out to people on social media. Put your blurb out there. Let people read it. Let people comment on it. Listen to those people and make the changes that you need to make. There are also companies out there that you can pay that will come up with a blurb for you. That might be the way you want to go, just to make sure that you get your blurb right, because that's what people are going to read to find out what your book is about. That's going to be their first, well, probably their second impression. Their first impression is going to be the cover. Their second impression is going to be the blurb. So if the cover doesn't completely sell them, the blurb better. So you want to get this right, and you want to figure it out the first time. If you want to have anything like about the author, or any type of reviews that you got to put on there, any awards that you might have got, either there or put it on the front. But the point I'm making is, get that figured out before you reach out to an artist. Artists are not going to want to make a bunch of changes to your covers as you learn later on what you might want to put on there. That's what I did. Fortunately, I had an artist who was just starting out herself and was okay working with me making changes, because it was a learning process for both of us. So even though I had to pay for some of those changes, which I was fine with doing because I didn't get it right the first time, it's still, it's not easy to make some of those changes on a cover. And some cover artists won't do it. They'll say, hey, I made your cover for your book, we're good. And any changes you might want to make, either sorry, or it's going to cost you. So try to get those things straightened out ahead of time, worked out ahead of time, so that you don't have to come back to them and say, hey, I need to make changes, because you might not be able to make those changes, and then you're going to be unhappy with the result. Number 4, find a good cover artist. Your cover art is your first impression for people. You want to make sure that that cover is the cover that you want. So don't compromise. If you have an idea for how you want your cover to look like, then let the artist know. Say, this is what I want. You may have to make some changes, because obviously you're not a cover artist, and there may be things that they can't actually do that you have in your head that you want done, and that's okay. You might have to make some compromises on that, but as long as you get the general idea. I had the idea for this. I wanted to have one of the main characters who's a druidess, who, as the story starts, you learn about her in the past when she was, at Stonehenge. And then as the story progresses, fast forward into our time, so now she is in our time. So I wanted that split, here is our time and here's the past, and she's kind of standing in the middle of it. And the artist worked with me, and we got the cover that I wanted. I was very happy with this cover, extremely happy with this cover, and quite honestly, it has served me really well through the years. People see this cover and they are drawn to it. They come over and they are interested in the book just by looking at the cover. Now, I am actually going to be redoing this cover for the 5th year anniversary, because this is the 5th year that since I published this book. So I'm kind of going with reimagining it and going with a different type of cover. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do yet. I have some ideas, but I got to get with the artist, who I have a new artist for, who's going to be doing the cover art for all of the books in the Lycanmore saga as I get to the 3rd and final book this year. So, as I said, the important thing is that you have a cover that you love and will draw people in. So, do some research. Get on Amazon, look through the top sellers, especially independent sellers, independent authors, and see what covers they are using. Because if it's an independent author, they're selling books in large part because people are being drawn to their cover art. And then, obviously, the story that they're writing about. But first and foremost, when people look at a cover, that is what makes them decide to read what the book is about. Obviously, with big name authors, they don't need to rely so much on the cover of their books. They have their name behind them. So if they're in the top 10, it's probably because they're, a Sanders or a Martin or Dan Brown or, whatever. Big name author. They could have a blank cover and still sell hundreds of thousands of books as long as it's got their name on it. So those are not the people you want to look for. You want to look at the people who are self-published like you and how they are arranging their covers, and you want to try to emulate that. Even though you might want to have a unique take on your cover, which is fine. I'm not saying don't do the cover that you want. What I'm saying is that you run the risk of losing sales and interest in your cover because you decided to go with something that was not sellable. And I have seen this from other authors, and I've tried to politely tell them, hey, while the cover looks cool and looks nice, I don't get what your book is about from the cover, or it doesn't look professional. And that's the important thing. You want it to look professional, you want it to look eye-catching, and those top sellers are going to have that. They're going to have a cover that is eye-catching, that speaks to their story and draws people in. So it's okay to emulate that. Obviously you don't want to copy it directly, but emulation is fine. Now for number 5, which I think is the most important one, and that is to just trust yourself. There is a learning curve to self-publishing. You can watch YouTube videos like this one. You can read articles. You can talk with other authors. You can go through social media, looking at what author advice. You can pay people for their tips and take classes, online classes that will help you write your first book and will give you tips about the things that I'm talking about here, about social media, cover art, all those things. The important thing is that you understand that not even all of those things may not be enough to get you a huge amount of sales, at least at first. This is a marathon, not a sprint. So you need to trust yourself, trust in your story, do your best, and try to get a good, polished product out there and let people know about it. That's all you can do. And in time, if you got a good story, it'll reach people. So you just need to give it time, trust yourself, trust your vision, trust your idea about what you wrote about, trust your story, and it'll work out. You'll get out there. But if you're going to be an author and you want to be successful as a self-publisher, you need to do the work, because it is a lot of work. It doesn't just happen. You need to find out how to make it happen and do those steps. So those are the 5 important things I think that I learned while preparing to publish my novel. I hope this information was helpful to you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, comment down below. Click on the notification bell for updates and notification for any future videos that I will be releasing. Also, please comment down below about any important things that you learned when you were publishing your first novel, or your second or third. Doesn't really matter. It's a learning process. I'm still learning things every day. So if you have learned something that I didn't put on here, please comment down below. If you have any suggestions about future videos that I will do, I would love to hear those. I'm always looking for ideas about things to talk about. So feel free to make a comment down below. And thank you for joining me today. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.